So is YouTube changing? Should you place your investment of time and energy into this platform? Is it still worth it? I'm excited to dive into that on today's episode. And after creating content for several years, I can tell you that here at Think Media, we are excited to share with you some of the changes that we've noticed happening on the platform. My name is Heather Torres, and I am your host here of the Think Media podcast. Welcome. If you're brand new to this show, we want to help you grow your influence using video and then turn that influence into a high impact and a high profit online business. Now, here at Think Media, we have several different content creators, and apparently Omar and Nolan from the Think Media team decided that they wanted to come and do a podcast takeover. So they're going to be sitting down and discussing some of the changes that are happening on YouTube. Now, if you're unfamiliar with our Think Media channel, you can go to thinkmedia.com and you can subscribe to our main channel. Now, Nolan and Omar both have an extensive experience of not just being filmmakers and photographer, but also in creating content. Both of them are actually full-time YouTubers devoting their time and energy onto this platform and not just creating content, but studying the content as well. They impact millions of people every single month through the content that they're creating. And they are, I would say, like YouTube scientists when it comes to figuring out what gets attention and why people are watching. So we're going to dive into today's episode with Omar El-Takrori and Nolan Molt from the Think Media team.
We are so excited to be on the Think Media podcast.
I'm stoked.
I got invited to one podcast, and then I told Nolan, hey, we got to hijack the podcast. So shout out to Sean and
We're
Heather.
doing it, dude. We're taking over, full takeover. And if you're listening to this and you hear my voice right now, you're listening to podcasts. Maybe you're seeing us on YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. But my name is Nolan Molt. I am a content creator at Think Media. I first actually got started about 4 years ago working at Think. Growth Video Live 1. I did some video work, kind of vlog style. And so ever since then, just started working more and more with Think Media. Now it's my full-time gig, but introduce yourself if they don't. I'm sure they know you.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I know Heather probably mentioned a little bit, and I've been on the podcast. But no, it's I think what we saw with Nolan, because at the time I was shooting a lot of Sean's videos and editing them, was that Nolan had this gift to teach. And so if you aren't subscribed to Think Media, I would encourage you to. And we're putting out high-quality videos that are going to be helpful for your journey as a content creator. And that's over at Think Media, posting consistently over there. But excited to get into this. Is YouTube changing?
I know, bro. It's funny. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about is YouTube changing, which I think yes, it is. Is like the short answer is it is changing. And it's what's cool is like the Think Media podcast. There's a lot of like it's business talk. It's how to make money, in the creator economy, and stuff, surrounding that. But like, as us being content creators, I'm excited to kind of share some insights and some stuff that's working for us, some stuff we want to improve on. But yeah, I mean, your short answer, would you say yes, YouTube's changing?
Yeah, I think what it is YouTube is evolving.
Right.
Humans evolve, so I think the things we're on are evolving. But I would encourage you, if you are a business owner or an entrepreneur and you would see yourself as that, I think the one thing you need to see yourself as is a content creator. The entrepreneurs and business owners, I find that view themselves as that first before they're a business owner, actually are the people crushing it with like their content and their videos, and they even value that at the highest level when it comes to how they spend their time. It's like, no, I gotta create content. I gotta make time for this, and so hopefully we can help you in this journey. But I think this is gonna be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, and I also want to add too, like, I know at Think Media we have courses on like how to grow on YouTube. We have other courses too that have nothing to do with YouTube, but like we're not like tied to YouTube. The reason we talk about YouTube so much and the reason we're on YouTube is because it is the best platform to grow a legit community, especially if you want to make it a full-time thing, make it a business. And so I want to like throw that disclaimer in there. Would you agree? Like, we aren't tied to YouTube. If there's a better platform for us to be on, like, we're going to be talking about that.
For sure.
When it comes to video, like video's the future. YouTube is the best place to get in front of people.
Yeah, and I would say best use for your time.
Yeah.
You know, like your efforts can go a long way, which is what we'll talk about with some of these topics.
I mean, and what I love about YouTube is I have a couple of guys who he has this coffee channel, and he's been growing his Instagram, like 37,000 followers in the last year and a half. He's absolutely crushing it. He's doing the reels, he's doing all that stuff. And so are we. But he's not making as much money as he could be if he was on YouTube. And so he just started doing YouTube stuff, and I was talking to him, and he was like, what I love about YouTube is I'll post something and it just like, it's a snowball effect, and he keeps getting views and it doesn't stop. Whereas on other social media platforms, he posts something and a week later it's like,
it dies out. Yeah, it's done.
So,
yeah. And just even the nature of how, I know you probably feel like you either know Sean and Heather, and it's because YouTube has this ability to make it feel like you're genuinely hanging out with the creator you're watching.
Yeah.
And that's just so powerful. And that's why when we meet each other, at conferences and stuff like that, people feel like, they say like, dude, I feel like I've hung out with you. Like I would watch your videos, pause it, do something, play it, and like I spent time with you. And that's just a powerful thing that you can do at 24/7, that somebody can do that in and through your business via YouTube. And so, yeah, dude, we are biased when it comes to YouTube, but nonetheless, there's different ways you can build an influence.
Yeah, and just to talk about that relationship building and trust, like that comes, I think, from time and long form video. And so, is YouTube changing? Yes, they come out with YouTube Shorts, and they're competing with TikTok and, of course, Instagram Reels. But when it comes to building that relationship, I would say long form content. Like you see people blow up on TikTok, and then they want to move over to YouTube. And yes, you can build a relationship with short form content 100%, but I think it's so much easier when you spend more time with that person, and YouTube's the place to be for that. But one of the changes too that I've noticed just in some of the creators that I follow is there's been this like kind of Mr. Beastified videos where I've seen creators where their content is really educational, whether it's like tech reviews or whatever, but there is this kind of like people really, they're seeing Mr. Beast get 100 million views. And when you get 20,000 views on your tech review video, you're like, what am I even doing with my life? Like 100 million views, like I need to do what Mr. Beast is doing. And so I kind of wanted to ask you about that and what your thoughts are on that, because really it comes down to two. We have entertainment on YouTube, and then you also have, educational side of YouTube. There's other stuff in there, and that's a big umbrella term, but I would say my question to you, Omar, is should educational YouTube channels start to try and be more of this like entertainment style and kind of be that crazy loud Mr. Beast and like adapt some of that stuff? What are your thoughts on that?
I know it's definitely difficult to see something working at such a huge level for somebody that's at the forefront, and we would consider Mr. Beast kind of paving the way for the future of YouTube. However, I think YouTube is no respecter of persons, I guess you could say. And what I mean by that is that you don't have to be Mr. Beast in your videos. I actually think if you are in the educational space and you want to add an entertainment side to your videos, I think it's about you becoming more you. The more comfortable you are on camera, the more entertaining you're going to be to watch. Because when you think about education, you think teacher, you think board and information, and that's it. But I think it's when you get more comfortable on camera and you start becoming more you will become more entertaining, and that's just something we've evolved to also at Think Media. The more videos we've been making, like you weave in a lot of your personality in your videos, and we're talking tech gear reviews, but there's personality. Yeah. I think that's the win. And then and I want you to speak into the more side of like the editing and the pacing, which that has less to do about personality. But I wanted to just say that you can be more entertaining the more comfortable you get on camera, and that's if you're in the educational space. But I think there's a way of blending the two in the way it looks for you.
I also think every single creator needs to ask themselves, what value am I bringing the viewer? Because it might not be entertainment.
For sure.
Someone that comes to mind is Alex and Layla Hermosi. Dude, Alex is sitting in this dark basement on a 480p webcam. You literally can't even put it in HD on YouTube. And
360p.
And yeah, exactly. But what's crazy is you want to hear what he has to say because he has so much experience, he has so much knowledge, and so him knowing that he doesn't need to Mr. Beast or entertain, like make it this crazy concept with crazy editing because you're there to hear what he has to say. And so I think if every creator can just like realize what is the value I'm bringing and double down on that. So YouTube's changing in some of the features they're bringing out. One of those would be this scrub bar. So you'll notice, and if you're watching the video, you're going to see what this looks like. But on the playhead on YouTube, as you scrub through, you're going to see this like these waves, and that's where people are watching the video. And if it's low, they're skipping through that. So I think asking yourself that question, what value am I bringing? And getting right to it right away and just sticking to that, doubling down on if it's the information, if it's news, if it, whatever it is, that's what you need to be focusing on, because if you are trying to do something else that people don't even want from your video, you can run into issues. I think that's one of the issues with vlogging sometimes is there is no true, why, even if you make the title and thumbnail, and that's very specific, and that actually does happen in the video. Someone might click on that video who's new, and they're going to skip through your entire day just to reach that moment of the title thumbnail.
Sure. Yeah, and I think another danger is actually creating videos that you aren't meant to sustain. You create the expectation from your viewer or for your viewer. And so if you are trying to go all out and Mr. Beast and entertain and ding, 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 then you are actually going to burn yourself out because that isn't meant. So the danger is in trying to be something you're not. And so you could be entertaining and educational at the same time. It's just finding what Nolan said was the value you're trying to bring to your audience.
Yeah, I think when it comes to YouTube changing just the thing that I've seen them do, every change, it's to benefit the viewer. So seeing that retention graph actually happening, and seeing where like the most replayed part is or where the most viewed section is, and being able to, as a viewer, to skip to that moment, it's helping the viewer, because YouTube, they're helping creators, but ultimately we don't do this without you guys watching, without people listening. Like, they want the viewer to have the best experience possible. And so I think as content creators, if we can put that into our heads of how can this video help the viewer and literally just obsess over the person who's going to watch that video, you're going to be changing your content with YouTube. And I think it's going to benefit you and help you get more views. It's going to help people watching your videos just enjoy it more. And so even chapters, we're talking about changes. Chapters are new-ish thing that has come, and a lot of people are using them more. And now automatic chapters are happening. And so they really just want to make it very easy for viewers to find the exact thing they're looking for in that video.
For sure. And we like to say it here at Think Media, the creator who understands the viewer best wins. And speaking of audience and it being about viewers, I think that lends itself to the next topic, and that is, do subscribers matter still?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's like another question to ask yourself is like, can anyone make it on YouTube anymore? Like, do you need subscribers? If you have subscribers, does that help you? And the answer I would say is like, no, it doesn't really matter how many subscribers you have on YouTube right now. And this is really cool, and this should be really encouraging for anyone out there who is at 0 subscribers, at 100 subscribers. Even if you've been posting videos, like right now you have the opportunity to, I mean, you just shared with me a guy who first upload went viral. Like, what video was that?
So there was this guy who posted a video, and it was a pastor who his title was like, I was a pastor and I left the church to do this or something like that. Very intriguing,
attention grabbing, controversial.
It made me want to click it based off of what I like, and it was served to me. And I asked a lot of people in my world, did you watch it? And they were like, dude, I saw that video too. Like, and this guy in 3 weeks got 280,000 views on a video that, for the most part, had a pretty basic thumbnail, powerful but basic, and a very basic title, no tags. The description was pretty empty as far as I know. And it showed a lot. It showed that YouTube can have a funny way of putting somebody out there, and and who knows what his plans are. Like, now I'm looking forward to, you know, what he's going to be posting now. But he had 0 subscribers, and YouTube pushed his video, which just tells me that there is opportunity on YouTube. If you feel like YouTube is crowded, your first video could be amazing. I mean, your 10th video might be amazing, but I think the case study of this guy, his name is John Gann, was definitely super interesting. We talked about it a couple days ago, and then we just checked again, and his videos doubled, the views doubled, which is insane.
Well, I hope that you are enjoying today's conversation, and I wanted to let you know that if you want to go deeper with us here at Think Media, one of the best ways to do that, to further your online education, is to take one of our free on-demand classes. You can go to thinkmasterclass.com, where we do a 1-hour free deep dive class into what's working on YouTube right now and how you can gain subscribers and views and income from your YouTube channel. We have several different options for you, but the latest video for you to watch is at thinkmasterclass.com. This video is not available anywhere on YouTube. This is only exclusively for our Think Media community who are ready to go deeper with us. At the end of that class, we share with you an opportunity to become one of our members inside of this movement of content creators making a difference in the world. So go to thinkmasterclass.com right now to get signed up for your free 1-hour YouTube on-demand class. Now, let's get back into today's featured content.
What I'd say too on that subject is because you're probably wondering, how was he able to do that? How can I do that? Here is would be my kind of advice and why I think he blew up. Because when it comes to getting views on YouTube, there's search traffic, which at Think Media, like half of our views, we got like 50 million plus views in the last year, and half of that came from search traffic. And so where's the other half coming from? It's from browse. So when you open up YouTube and you go to the homepage, when you're watching a video and you see suggested, these videos are getting recommended. You want to be recommended by YouTube. You want YouTube saying you should watch this next, or on your homepage, they open it up, you should watch this video. This guy's video showed up on everybody's homepage. It wasn't showing up in search. No one was typing in, I left the church full-time. So here is, and I would even say that wasn't necessarily entertainment, right? I mean, it was like story time.
No, right. No, I mean, he was just literally sharing his story. And again, it's kind of hard to put your finger on it, more than the idea that had he not got in front of the camera and made this video, this just wouldn't happen.
Right.
And so I think there's the principle of just getting that video out, and you know, there is a level of cross our fingers. We always cross our fingers. Every time we make a video, I'm crossing my fingers. It's 1 out of 10, you know, but no, I definitely think it just shows that there's opportunity still.
Yeah. And the opportunity, you know, there is opportunity in search 100%. That is still a fantastic way to get views on YouTube, but there is still a massive opportunity right now for people with 0 subscribers, for people with, it doesn't even matter how many subscribers, but with browse. And so how do you get on browse? Is how does this guy actually get his video recommended by YouTube to 200 plus thousand views? I think, first of all, he had a very interesting, we have the perfect video recipe. So we teach this in our Video Ranking Academy course. And here's a little kind of sneak peek as to what it is. But he basically followed it. And the first step is the big idea.
Right.
And his idea worked because it, like we talked about, it was Omar looked at that video and he was like, dude, I got to click on this. And then he's asking other people, did you check out this video? It's an idea that pulls weight and you actually want to watch that. So if he posted a video that was titled, what it was like working in ministry the past 10 years, that's not as interesting.
Yeah, right.
But I'm a pastor and I left my church and full-time ministry is very interesting. So he had that. And then it comes down to, the thumbnail was simple, but because of the idea, he was actually able to get a lot of clicks. High click-through rate really helps in the YouTube algorithm. And then I didn't watch the video, but I'm assuming that he was just engaging and got right to it. And it was a 16-minute video, and you wanted to hear all of it. And those two things matter a lot. So how can you get people to click on your videos? And then how can you get people to continue watching your videos? If you can obsess about that and the viewer, dude, you can really blow up on YouTube with the right video ideas and even if you have no subscribers. It's kind of crazy.
And I think there's something, I don't know how ninja he was in his regards to titling this. Obviously, it could have been accidental. I get a sense of it that it was kind of accidental.
Yeah.
But you can grow in this skill. Grow in
Yes.
the skill of understanding what topic for your niche or industry would just grab eyes and get clicks. You know, I think it's on you to learn that. Like, what is the pulse of my community, even my future community? What are they going through right now? You know, when I think about maybe like finances and stuff like that, people are wondering about recession. People are wondering about inflation. Like, these are things that that you could speak into if it pertains to your future community that you're trying to build.
Yeah, another thing too on this whole subscriber thing and why this should be so encouraging for you guys listening to this is like, at Think Media, we have 2 million plus subscribers, but when we look at the analytics, our views coming from our subscription feed is so much lower than our search and our browse.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a lot of people would say that's like really just discouraging, right? Especially like we built a 2 million plus channel and a lot of those subscribers aren't going to see it. Now, we post every single day and we have a wide variety of topics to help creators. And so, of course, not everyone's going to want to see every video
if you
anyways.
followed us because you watched an editing tutorial, you don't need to know what's the best camera that's about to come out. You have a camera, or you just bought a camera and then tomorrow we're dropping another video. Like, it makes sense. And I think it's just understanding the game you're trying to play in that regard. And we still value search-based because that's a lot of views that's just coming in.
Passive views. Passive views.
Yeah.
Seriously. So, yeah. I mean, it's pretty wild, you know, that, you know, 2 million subscribers, and like where we actually get a lot of views is in the long run. So making evergreen content that can continually get searched based off of a camera, based off of, you know, people wondering how to get views on YouTube or how to edit in this program. So there's different strategies you can run with, but you don't need ton of subscribers, which is pretty cool. And, you know, we're just talking about content creation. We're talking about even just different strategies on how to get views. When I was thinking about this the other day and I was like, what would be the easiest way to start and grow a YouTube channel in 2022? And I really think if I started over with nothing and I wanted to do it that was the least expensive, least amount of work, I would do video podcast. I would do video podcasting. And so I know you have a lot of experience in video podcasting, working with clients, helping them grow on YouTube. And so why don't you kind of break down video podcasting and explain what clips are, and for people know what podcast is, but like specifically YouTube video podcasting.
Right. So number one thing I love about video podcasting is the format. This right here, the format of this video would be called a video podcast, where you're sitting down, you're talking to a camera. You don't need to put any B-roll. The idea is that more or less the information that's coming from a conversation or something you're delivering, whether it be a teaching or something. Mm-hmm. But what's so cool about a video podcast is back to like, you know, grooming your audience to what to expect. If you build an audience that just loves watching and hearing you in this, you know, format, then you just did yourself a solid, because I only want, you know, Think Media Podcast to come in this format. And so for somebody who doesn't have much time, this is a good way to use it, because you could sit down once and record one episode, or maybe it's a longer episode.
30, 40, 60 minutes.
With moments within that podcast. And we're finding a few things. We're finding, number one, the repurpose of a video podcast. Number one, going on an audio platform, whether it be Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Number two is most podcasts are being discovered now with short form content like YouTube Shorts, Reels, and TikToks. People are finding a funny moment or a very valuable moment from somebody's podcast. Then they're finding the full podcast and becoming a subscriber to it. And so that creator only sat down once and created that content. So that's why I would say video podcasting is probably one of the most powerful ways of creating content today, especially if you're busy, because you can spin it a million different ways.
Exactly. You could record one podcast like every other week or even once a month, and you've just recorded content that could be pulled out in clips and post weekly just by pulling out to certain moments. And that's what we're going to be doing with this podcast. And another thing, just talking about gear, is you also don't need to invest in a super nice camera. Right now we got all the nice cameras and stuff, but you could record a podcast on Zoom and have just a decent microphone, get the Samsung Q2U, and it's like $70. And what's awesome is that's like $70. You could start a YouTube channel, use your webcam, and focus on the educational side.
Right.
And you can interview people.
Right.
So you don't even have to be an expert in whatever you want to talk about. I could start a podcast about lawn mowing. And I literally could talk to lawnmower business owners and I have no experience, but because I'm interviewing the right people, I can almost use, and then another cool thing is you can use them in your titles and thumbnails to gain leverage if they have a following. And there's so many things I love about it.
So Nolan says is he would do a video podcast. My step deeper would be I would do a video podcast that was live, because then it would eliminate the need to edit.
Yeah.
So doing the live interview or just doing it live and learning how to skillfully grow in your communication as a live video podcast can really save you time.
Right.
And I think one person I love who's doing it, not necessarily a video podcast, but the style is Ruslan. He's just showing up on his computer, hitting live and bringing relevant information to his community, and then just using the YouTube editor in the back end to edit in and out his intro and stuff. It's such a powerful way to use your time and build an audience if you don't want to learn editing, and as well as if you want to use your time effectively but yet build an audience.
So one of my favorite examples of this, just to drive it home how like crazy this can be if you do this, is Sean actually went on the Creative Disruption podcast. And
oh yeah, I remember this.
Like a couple years ago. And he went on this podcast, and I think it got like 5,000 views or something. Sean, I went to Vegas to film intros and outros, and we pulled out clips. I think we had like 6 videos from this one podcast. And I was looking back at some of those videos. Some of them have like 500,000 views.
For real.
Some of them have like 200,000
Talking about
views.
the clips, like the clips that Nolan pulled
4
out.
to 6, 8, 10-minute clips.
Yep.
Getting hundreds of thousands of views. And it comes down to serving the viewer, because clips are so powerful, because, and that's something we're going to start doing with the podcast channel eventually, is more clips, because not everybody wants to watch a 30-minute long video when really you just wanted to hear about video podcasting. That's why you clicked on this video, and you don't hear about all the other stuff talking about in the podcast. And so there's less people skipping through parts, and that is super powerful. Obviously getting hundreds of thousands of views on multiple videos versus don't just throw up your podcast. Cut that baby up, dude.
For sure.
So wild, so crazy. And what's cool too about the opportunity right now with video podcasting, like I said, low startup cost. But basically the thing I want to get into next, and I think where we can actually help a lot of the people listening to this right now, is how to make better content. You said every business, every brand needs to think of themselves as a media company, as a content creator. And so being a content creator the last multiple years, what are just some ways for people to level up as their content, and even as a content creator, maybe being more efficient and stuff?
Yeah, I think this question a lot of the times poses like, give me the secret, Omar. Yeah. Like, how do I...
What's the secret?
I think the reality is there's nothing that replaces repetition. It's... I would hope we'd be this good. I humbly say that. I hope we'd be this good after 2 years of posting constant videos consistently. Yeah. And so I think it really is just a commitment to showing up consistently, and you will get better every upload. And that the person you are today, the creator you are today, is not the creator you will be in a year from now. Hence the creator that actually posts consistently. So I would really just encourage you to just commit to that schedule. And not to pick yourself apart, but watch it back. I think when you study pro athletes, they're at the highest level. What are they doing? Pro athletes have their own trainers. Pro athletes are watching their game tape. Pro athletes are studying what they're doing and their opponents. And I know you'll speak into this in just a moment about studying YouTube. But I definitely think watching yourself back, how do you communicate to the camera? Are you stiff? Are you robotic? But choosing that one thing that you can level up with in the next video, over time, that compound interest of improvement will game change your content.
Yeah. One thing I like to do too is when I'm watching YouTube for myself, just for fun, is I'll just start watching videos, and then I'll pause myself and I'll be like, I just watched that entire video and that was awesome. And then I'm like, why did I love that? Or why did I click
100.
on that? I'll go into my history and I'm like, why did I click on that video? Something you can actually do is go to your homepage and see if there's any like really cool videos, and then be like, okay, I'm about to watch this, but like, why do I want to click on this? and actually starting to think like a viewer will help you as a content creator. And so that's one of the things that I've done is put myself in that shoes. Another thing is experimenting. So I just started experimenting with our end card format because I was watching Dave Ramsey clips, and for some reason he just kept getting me going on to the next video and the next video, and they do something
Dude,
a little bit
your
different.
finances okay, dude? Like,
I'm on baby. I'm not gonna tell you what baby stuff I'm on.
Okay,
But basically, you know, I literally just started this experiment with like 2 videos where the end card is different. And then I went into the analytics, which is another hack. Go into your analytics and actually look at your retention graphs, look at your click-through rates, look at what videos have, basically it'll tell you, hey, these are your top 10 videos where people have stayed the longest of the first 30 seconds. Like looking at all that stuff, YouTube is telling you, keep doing this. And so you want to study your own content, not just look at other people's stuff. But what I noticed was once I applied this new end card experiment was we weren't having this cliff in some of my videos. It was just barely dipping down. And I was like, okay, this is really cool. And this can help kind of move the needle slowly. And so I think leveling up, experimenting, and sometimes you're like, yo, this video got 5 views. It didn't work. You know, again, it takes time too on YouTube sometimes. But yeah, experiment, try new stuff.
Try new things. And just so you know, YouTube, it rewards the people that are posting consistently. The more videos you post, the more data you are given, and you can actually use that to your advantage. It doesn't help to post seldomly and try to make conclusions from that. You want to post consistently so that you can get that information and then make those tweaks that lead to giant peaks.
Okay, well, Nolan and Omar were so fun on today's podcast. If you want to see them more regularly here on this show, let me know down in the comment section below on YouTube, or leave a review of what you thought of the Nolan Omar podcast episode. I thought it was really fun, and I love getting to sit around a table with them or on Zoom and be able to discuss some of the changes that are happening on YouTube. It really, for me, has been such a great investment of time and energy, and we are just seeing this platform explode with opportunity. So if you liked episodes like this, give it a like button on YouTube. Click the like button, and rate and review the podcast if you have not done already over on Apple Podcasts. And today's review comes from JMVA29. They said, Think Media has given me that push that I needed at the right time. The Think Media team has helped me have the drive to reach out to people through YouTube. It was during the lockdowns that I thought about putting up a YouTube channel, but it's after attending the 1K challenge that I actually posted my first video, and I've posted 1 video every week since then. I always listen to them when I'm driving, so I'm always encouraged. I'm Team Sean, Team Heather, and even Team Omar. All of you just give a different flavor to the show. Well, thank you so much. And I will say I'm also Team Nolan. I know he wasn't mentioned there, but I love that we get to be a group of creators bringing content to you every single week. Thank you so much for being a part of what we're doing here at Think Media. I want to encourage you that if you've not listened to past episodes, we have an entire library of free content ready for you to listen to. And if you have not yet signed up for our latest free YouTube class, you can do that and watch that on demand at thinkmasterclass.com. That's the best way to go deeper with us here at Think Media and have the opportunity to join a group of creators who want to make a difference in the world through the power of video. Thanks for watching or listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye, fam.